That works with troubled teens suffered budget cuts. The Boys and Girls Club of Edmonton claims provincial cost-cutting forced it to cancel its crisis intervention service, putting 100 people out of work. Well, today, critics say they're seeing a pattern with government policy, and they're concerned. Fletcher Kent has that story.
It was a tough week for Alberta youth facilities. First Bosco, then the Boys and Girls Club of Edmonton.
That has been drastically cut because of decisions made by the government.
Well, it's a new week, and Bosco has a new lease on life, but worry remains amongst those representing the interests of other nonprofit groups.
Are there some shifts coming? Are there some changes that we're going to see?
The Edmonton Chamber of Voluntary Organizations is asking more of those questions, especially after last week.
That's really concerning because all of a sudden you begin to see situations pop up here and there and here and there, and you wonder, is it part of a trend or is it an isolated incident?
Opposition parties believe it is a trend, and a disturbing one.
I think the government is deliberately trying to drive some of our not-for-profit agencies out of business. I think they find it inconvenient.
Blakeman says government is adopting what's called outcome-based contracting, where government pays for results rather than hours worked. It's a way to save money, reducing duplicate services.
What you end up with is privatization pretty quickly.
Whether there's a policy shift in play or not, though, the NDP demands government be more transparent.
They're doing it behind closed doors. They're not being forthright with Albertans. They're not being forthright with the service providers. They're certainly not being forthright with the kids in care.
For nonprofit groups, that's the biggest concern.
Uncertainty creates a lot of anxiety, both for clients as well as the providers of service.
Now, the Children and Youth Services Minister was unavailable to discuss the issues. Her office says she is traveling. But opposition parties and nonprofit groups anxiously await her return, saying they have a lot of questions for her about what might happen next. Fletcher Kent, Global News.
Those working in the Crisis Intervention Service account for 75 of the 101 jobs cut by the Boys and Girls Club of Edmonton. The rest worked in administration or at the organization's 9 drop-in centers.